Okay, here we are. Yeah, this I'm using. I'm not using the Go XLR now because we had all that noise. So now I'm using the Shure SM7 thing, which makes an XLR mic like this into a USB mic. So I used it last time. It sounded okay. Hopefully it'll sound okay right now too. So here's hoping. All right, so good news. We sold our rental property, and we made a good amount of money off that. And fortunately, we sold our rental property to our tenant, so she was super happy about it. The previous tenant, who she knew, said, if you get a chance to buy it, you should buy it. So she's happy, we're happy, everything is great with that. So that's awesome. That finished on Wednesday, and now we're on a kind of a spending spree to buy things. Yeah, me too. I was kind of worried. We were waiting for, there was a lien on our property for a medical bill or something like that, but that got cleared off. We had rescheduled it once, the closing, but then I put in the paperwork on Friday, and I was waiting and waiting for this one piece of paper, and it's like, Tuesday, not here, son of a bitch. So I called the lawyer again and didn't get a response, but I got it at Wednesday at about 1 o'clock, and we closed at 3. So that was, it was tense, but we got there. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, we sold the house. Now we're going on a spending spree. Getting Eli Manning, how you doing, man? Welcome back. It's good to see you. How you been? Yeah, we sold our rental property. Now I'm on a spending spree. I got a new, another Samsung G7 monitor. I've got a 3070 Ti coming for a video card, and an uplift motorized desk coming. So that'll be good. You've been sick? Oh, COVID? Hopefully not. Oh, son of a bitch, dude. Well, hopefully you're going to be okay off that. There's all these horrors that come from COVID. Hopefully you don't get any side effects from it. Hope it's just sick and then you're done. My boss has had it. One of my other coworkers has had it again for the second time. One of our friends' daughter has had it 2 or 3 times already. It's pretty insane. Our family's been, well, I'm very careful. I don't ever leave the house, but yeah, but my wife isn't as careful. She's like, it's just another flu. Like, no, it's not. But my daughter's pretty safe too. She wears masks in most places. So we've been very fortunate so far, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, motorized desk. I'm really excited about this because then I can stand, because my back and neck and knees are a mess. So hopefully that will help to make sure I'll be at least healthier. Actually, it's a 3070 Ti. Sounds like a nerd. Yes, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. I'm excited. I've got my office space here. So I get the motorized desk, get the second monitor, get the monitor mounts, get it set up. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I got a good monitor now, so I can use a good video card, which should come today. It's the first thing that should come today. Then I can use the NVIDIA. They got a software that can help manage your sound and get rid of background noise and stuff like that. It's supposed to be really powerful. And the card that I have now, Nerds and Geeks, yes, that's what you should expect on my channel. If not, tech geeks or role-playing geeks, at least political geeks, right? We're all sorts of nerddom here on this channel. I cross quite a spectrum on the geek on the geek spectrum. Using a treadmill, yes, I want one. So a part of originally what I had planned on the spending spree, because we're going to be going through bankruptcy. I originally had the treadmill with it, but the total price for it was like $5,000 for everything, including the treadmill. So well, I have my moments, right? But yeah, at some point I will get a treadmill up here. I don't know if there'll be one below the desk, but I am going to bring one up here because especially in the winter, I like doing my walks, but it gets so fucking cold here sometimes that having at least some sort of a treadmill will be nice. And I have a place for it right over there. Once I get the whole, you can never, Yeah, it can be difficult. It can be difficult for some people. When I was in college, there was like 14 of us in computer programming. Not that this is a direct analogy, but it's somewhat it's close-ish. There's 14 of us in the programming degree track, and by the end of by the time graduation came, there's only 2 of us left. And after that first semester, half went over to networking. The computers are kind of similar. Some will get it, some won't, but it's something you really have to get used to in this world because computers are going to control everything. Maybe you can use a tablet. Maybe that's going to be okay. Maybe Android will be okay for you. Maybe Apple will be okay. If you can get a chance to try different operating systems, that might help you figure out an interface that makes sense to you, because Apple's very different, very different. I do have a Mac here from work, which I haven't spent a whole lot of time, I haven't spent any time on yet, but at some point, once we get past the bankruptcy, once we get that going, with WGU, they offer people who are employees 75% off a degree track. So I'll probably do my master's degree. And then I'm thinking I'll do my entire master's degree on the Mac. That way I have to get used to it. And my boss said their Macs are great for accessibility. So I think that's what she uses. But I don't know. We'll see. I have to get used to it because I have to do testing on there and that sort of a thing. What else? What else is going on? Okay, so 2 things. There's Auravana. I don't know if I can find this page. Hold on a second. They have a big stuff. Where is it? Is this? Here it is. Yeah. They're kind of big in resource-based economies or so. They've got a whole site and it's very technical. I haven't gone through it yet. But someone shared this. That's not what they fucking shared. Go back. Here we go. So they started this new party. Mac OS with a MacBook. That's M1, M2. Super cool. They're super fast. Have battery life. Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a try because I really need to understand the Mac cult and figure what all the hullabaloo is about. I don't know what I have. I've got some sort of a laptop. But we'll see. We shall see. So Auravana, they're messing around with this Oracom party, and their platform is my policy. My policy. They've taken most of it, ripped it straight from my policies, and they've added some of their own stuff. But see here, they're pointing directly to my policies, global domestic policies. Then their constitution here is my Universal Declaration of the Unified Rights of Humanity. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't done this yet. There it is. And so they've taken my Declaration of the Unified Rights of Humanity and shrunk it down a little bit because maybe this is the whole thing. I don't know. I haven't read through it word for word to see if it's exactly what I posted, but they've done that. So that was cool. And actually, they were talking about this in a Twitter chat in the personal message area for a group, and then they popped on, and it's like, we're going to meet with them I'll meet with them in, I don't know, next week sometime when they get back from this training they're doing for permaculture. Then we'll talk about them trying to do this. And it's cool. And I've considered starting a party of my own. But God, the amount of work that has to be done for this is it's crazy. So that's cool. I'm excited about that. Maybe this will turn into something better. Maybe what they're offering will be good. And if I run for office again, maybe I'll run under them. I don't know. We'll see. So that's something else cool that's happening. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's about all I've got for what's happening with me. Anybody having anything interesting going on besides living with COVID? Again? At work, hopefully my boss will get a chance to look over all my training and writing because I've got like 15 pages worth. 15 different web pages worth of different topics. That is going to be our accessibility portal. So once she gets through that, and one of our other people gets through it, we'll be able to finally take it to the public, to the people of WGU, and I'm super excited. She's super busy. It's like her whole day is just meeting after meeting. So hopefully she'll get a look at it this week or next week. I got all the steps in the way for the official. Oh, have you? Oh, okay. I've been thinking about getting diagnosed myself for not so much ADHD. I don't think I've got that to deal with, but somewhere on the autistic spectrum. I've been watching a little bit on that, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably go to the VA, and talk to them about that first, because our insurance isn't all that good. I don't think, because they don't support our a provider that's close for therapy or whatever. I have to go like an hour away, so I'll probably start with the VA and see where that takes me. I took a quick online test that said I was borderline, so maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Would be next, but I would do one after the other in ADHD. Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot of that. I think I'm more on the autism spectrum than the ADHD spectrum, but I do have a little bit of that, I think. Maybe not enough to be diagnosed. I don't know. We'll see. I have to get up the gumption to do it. It's hard because I enjoy my work, and I'm taking that break to do something like this is a lot of takes time to do it, and brain power. With bipolar disorder? Oh, really? Interesting. I guess I could kind of see it. Especially with ADHD, I could kind of see that. Interesting. I didn't know that. It's more just getting my brain, like, shifting my brain power to prepare myself to do that, to actually call somebody and do something like that. It's tough. It's tough. Shift gear from work to making this call, and talk to people is just, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right. Let's get this party started, I think. I'm hoping some point during this that my card will be delivered, so I'll have to run downstairs to get it. But yeah. All right. Any last comments before we get started? Bueller. It's a NVIDIA 3070 Ti. I think I paid a little bit more than MSRP, but it was low enough that I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. So I was originally going to go for 3070, then the prices were low enough. Yeah. I have a NVIDIA 1070 Ti that I bought off a friend because he has a 2080. So, and I can't run that cool NVIDIA audio stuff unless I have at least a 20-something. So I'll get this 3060. The next year I'll get a 4000 generation, hopefully a 4080, and then I'll be done till I die, probably, for video cards. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and part of the stuff that I bought a computer for my daughter. It's from NZXT. It's NZXT build, and it's from NZXT. It's their NZXT program where you buy the whole computer you buy the computer and they send it to you in parts, and then they send it to you with the instructions on how to put it together. And then my daughter and I are going to put it together so I can teach her about computers, and so she can say, yeah, I built a computer myself. So that's, oh yeah, no, oh my God, it's pretty cool. And you can buy, yeah, here it is. I think you can buy full computers from them too. Here it is. So gaming PCs, then the build kit. build your first gaming PC. They send you like a whole bunch of stuff. It's what you buy has to fall in. Well, here, this is the one I bought. So it's this. You get this. What's it come with? Yeah, it is. I saw it on JC 2 cents or Linus Tech Tips, one of the two. So we've got 1 terabyte of storage, 16 gigabytes of RAM. This has got a 3070 in it. Yeah, so you can buy this and it comes with that. And yeah, you can buy computers from them directly too. I'll go and throw this in chat so you can take a look. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's cool. It's cool. And this is one of the ways you can get a hold of one of the NVIDIA cards is through this. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's get started. Woo! A lot of neat stuff to go over here. All right. From July 25th, last week. Yeah, it's not too bad. The core cost was about $1,400 for it. And it's got a AMD 6-core 12-thread processor, which is plenty for my daughter. I mean, she's not going to need to upgrade for a long time. The other thing she might have to upgrade will be her RAM. She's got 16 gigs, which is okay. Unless she's going to do a bunch of gaming, then she'll probably want 32. That way she won't have any problems. Like right now on my computer, I don't shut it off at all. So I let it run through the night. And then I've got the Boink thing running, which has it help to cure cancer and stuff like that. Right now, it's been on for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm at 33 gigs of RAM being used, and that's it. Normally, I run about 17 gigs. Yeah. Normally, if you're not too intense, you don't leave it on. 16 should be fine. Like in my steady state for this computer, it's about 17 to 19 gigs of RAM being used. So it's kind of, actually 24 would probably be perfect for, so you wouldn't have any problems at all, any limitations on RAM. Because like, yeah, my steady state is 17 to 19, sometimes even when I'm doing stuff. But yeah, 16 should be enough for quite a while. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Because like before I got this, the upgrade of the PC, I had 8 gigs of RAM. You know, my stream was crashing all the time. That's why I had 8 gigs of RAM, and the steady state for this is like 17 to 19. I was like, I was stunned when I saw that. Just like, what? So yeah, since I got the new computer, I haven't had any problems. Yeah, it's not in today's world. That's how old my stuff was. All those hand-me-down stuff until I got this one. Yeah, so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Okay. All right, let's do this. Creating the Capitalocene endless accumulation. It's from last week. This is on Counterpunch. Okay, I gotta do my sharing. Hold on, I gotta do this. There we go. Yeah, right. Endless growth. Brr, what could go wrong? Well, we're seeing it, right? The world system we know today was born in a time roughly from the mid-14th to mid-17th centuries. We understand them as a time when the world came out of the, quote, Dark Ages into the Renaissance when the light was breaking through. In truth, writes Fabian Scheidler, it was a time of unprecedented violence in Europe, of wars across the landscape culminating in the genocide of the indigenous of the Americas. Quote, why does the early modern period come across as the new area of progress and humanism? It's because of the Age of Enlightenment in the late 16th, in the 1700s. The reason for cultivating this myth is obvious. It is crucial to the West's narrative of being the bearer of progress throughout the history of mankind. But what if our present system was actually built on a nightmare born of naked violence and sheer despair? What if civilization did not make progress but systematized barbarism instead? Well, they're not mutually exclusive. It is that system which threatens to plunge the world into final nightmares as we confront the consequences of warfare and ecological destruction. We must thoroughly question the foundations of our economy, our state, and much more. Scheidler writes in his recent work, The End of the Mega Machine, A Brief History of a Failing Civilization. Right? What if? The central drive to accumulate capital. The system, or the mega machine as Scheidler calls it, consolidated with the restoration of coin taxation, which under Rome and empires preceding it allowed the formation of standing armies. Mercenaries would provide kings the power to put down peasant revolts. Funded by Italian bankers, mercenary armies roamed Europe, consolidating it as a war economy during the 100 Years' War, which actually lasted from 1337 to 1453. Which is just over 100 years. The invention of the cannon around 1450 drove the economic requirements of warfare much higher. States were driven to accumulate capital to compete. That flipped the emphasis from earlier empires such as Rome and China, the central goal of which was to consolidate state power. In Europe, instead, the system became driven by the rationale of endless capital accumulation. The need for capital to build war machines drove wars to repay debt in an endless circle. In fact, the brutal colonization of the Americas and enslavement of populations to mine precious metals was driven by the need to pay bankers. Oh, that fucking sucks. Yeah, money it's the gift that keeps on giving. In blood. The infrastructure of capital accumulation was created in those centuries. The invention of double-entry bookkeeping in 14th century Italy, with its sharp quantification of profit and loss, focused unlimited accumulation as a goal in itself. The authoritarian state was consolidated through draconian poor laws forcing people to work, the Inquisition and religious persecution, which actually intensified compared to the Dark Ages. Witch trials proliferated, notably in the areas where greatest economic stress was causing peasant revolts. Yeah, and that's a lot of what, when we talk about resource-based economies and the cause of the problems, obviously money is part of it, but again, when there's high levels of poverty and high levels of suffering, people start freaking out, and that's when the violence and horrors happen. Then in 1602, the first modern corporation was created, the Dutch East India Company, through which the state provided two vital guarantees. One was practical immortality. No longer would accumulation cease with the death of the individual, but be perpetuated institutionally over generations. The second was limited liability. Shareholders would only be liable for their own holdings in the corporation. The remainder of their wealth would be protected. These were revolutionary developments at the time. Yeah, most definitely were. Replacing the organic with the mechanical. Through these centuries, the intellectual infrastructure of the mega machine was also created in the philosophies of absolute control. The rise of machines such as clocks caused thinkers to interpret the world as a machine. René Descartes and Thomas Hobbes became philosophers of the mechanism. They claimed that even living beings were nothing more than automatons, a radical break from earlier worldviews that perceived nature as a living organism. To Descartes, the body was a machine controlled by thought. To Hobbes, society was a machine of war of all against all, to be controlled by superior power, a leviathan. Their claim that the principles of mechanical laws also applied to the realm of living things amounted to one of the most monumentous epistemological errors in human history. That nature could contain the non-determinable and spontaneous was rejected. With that, by implication, came the denial of self-organization in favor of hierarchical control. No, it's just calendar. I'll be checking my phone every so often if something pops up just to see if my card was delivered. In that context, what could be measured and quantified took precedence over other forms of knowledge, including the actual perceptions of individuals. Humans would fade into invisibility before abstract structures. Mapping would simplify the complex landscape of the peasantry to allow control and standardization. Forests would be replaced with standardized plantings that would suffer dieback because they did not replicate the biological systems needed to support them. Land registries and urban planning would allow kings to gain power over cities. Work was shaped. Look at this, another editing error. Come on. Work was shaped not by the spontaneous interplay of activities in the community, but by the clock. Schools were shaped not by curiosity, but by rote learning to condition people to accept control. The pattern in all of this was a replacement of the organic with the mechanical. The complex structure of meaning and relationships upon which life is based was replaced by machine-like chains of command and obedience. The vanishing point of this development is another one. Come on. Is society striving exclusively for an infinite increase in the production of goods and in the process, wiping out everything that does not serve this purpose. The Capitalocene emerges. Thus, even before the dawn of the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s, the fundamental elements of the mega machine had been put in place. Long before the Industrial Revolution, the military, educators, manufacturers, and scientists dreamed of such a thoroughly machine-organized society, Scheidler writes, but they lacked one thing to make this dream a reality: fuel. This is where the story of coming of the modern mega machine merges with our own world. Coal had long been known to be an energy source, and the principles of the steam engine had been known since antiquity. But it took until the 1700s for these two key drivers of the Industrial Revolution to be deployed on a mass basis. Scheidler ascribes this to the growth of the money economy, the need for capital to seek ever-expanding investment opportunities. For this reason, though our time is often called the Anthropocene, Scheidler describes it as the Capitalocene, because the fundamental driver is not people or technology, but rather the dynamics of endless capital accumulation. Oh, okay, all right. There's some definite logic to that. By the 1700s, a capitalist culture had been created. The Protestant Reformation, notably through John Calvin and his followers, had twisted the original message of the Christian Gospels with their preference for the poor to the opposite. The sign of salvation was wealth and prosperity. The universal mission to convert the world inherited from Roman Christianity became a gospel of wealth. And we've heard me just get enraged by the prosperity gospel bullshit. States played a key role with their drive to maintain military superiority through capital accumulation. But energy was a limiting factor. Wood, water, wind, and muscle power, human and animal, were largely played out in Europe by the 1700s. A new theoretically unlimited source of energy would be needed to foster unlimited capital accumulation. It was coal. A technological cycle developed. Though coal had been mined in England for heat, it was mostly from shallow seams. Mining deep seams required pumping out water, and for that, the steam engine was developed. To transport coal from the limited locations it was found, rail transport exploded the mine itself to spread across the countryside. That created another self-reinforcing cycle. It required capital accumulation to invest in mines, railways, and factories. Okay, it just drives me nuts they're not using Oxford commas. Come on. Edit this properly. Oxford commas, bitch. Arrgh. At the same time, it was only fossil energy, right? God, I was so happy when I saw on the news, or heard on the news, that the Associated Press made the Oxford comma a part of its style guide. So happy. Oxford comma for life. Sorry. It was at that same time, it was only fossil energy that could enable the exponential expansion of production necessary for permanently profitable investments and the continued accumulation of capital. The solar energy that had been stored up in coal for millions of years allowed the economic system to surge past the natural limits it had reached, at least for the time being. Okay, so there you go. Makes a good case. I could see it being called the Capitalocene as well. That makes perfect sense. All right, next. All right. Oh. No, click. Click, damn you. Oh. The Stuff We Are Made From, Rethinking Nature and Society by Fabian Scheidler. Summary. Okay, let's read this. Oh, no. There we go. All right, so the summary for his book. Do we know when this is published? I skipped through the version, not the English version, but the chapters read like physics, neuroscience. Oh, okay. 2021. Okay, oh, fairly recent. Good. Okay, thanks, man. All right, what does this say? Industrial civilization has plunged the Earth's life-saving systems into the greatest crisis in 66 million years. Climate chaos, species extinction, and the closely related spread of pandemics threaten the future of humanity. After Scheidler's book, The End of the Mega Machine, exposed the economic and political roots of this crisis, The Stuff We Are Made From is devoted to the role of the technocratic worldview, which reduces nature to an exploitable and controllable resource in the hands of man. In 6 chapters, the book traces the rise and fall of this worldview. The first 3 chapters deal with the development of physics and biology from their beginnings to present. Chapters 4 to 6 are devoted to the social consequences of the profound ideological upheavals that characterize both the beginning of modernity and our present day. The idea of a thoroughly calculable machine-like universe marked the beginning of the scientific revolution 400 years ago, at exactly the time when the capitalist world system was being formed. With the advancement of technology and the military economic expansion, man seemed to acquire an almost divine power over creation. However, the deeper science penetrated nature in the following centuries, the more the idea of a mechanical world began to falter. A process that began with Newton's theory of gravity and the culmination in the 20th century with the revolutions of Einstein and quantum physics. In biology, the idea of genetic determinism has increasingly given way to the insight that life is self-organized, cooperative, and creative process, a process that also gives rise to the enigmatic phenomenon of consciousness, which remains incomprehensible in a mechanistic worldview. Okay. But despite these insights, the technocratic ideology is still powerful, whether in the futuristic fantasies of Silicon Valley, from uploading the human mind to the colonization of Mars, or in the idea that the climate crisis can be solved by large-scale geoengineering. Okay, overcoming our current destructive economic system, which is driving the planet to the brink of collapse, requires a new way of looking at nature and thus also at ourselves. And this transformation is key to overcome the ideology of separation. No shit! Good. Good. I like that. Which holds that we are isolated utility maximizers in a world of dead things. Natural sciences, on the contrary, show that we are inextricably linked with our environment, embedded in the cosmic biospheric and social metabolism. Yeah, good stuff. Humankind only has a future if it reorganizes its economic and political structures in such a way that it takes into account. Yeah! Preach, brother. Preach! Fabian Scheidler's book advocates a new understanding of nature and society in a crisis-ridden time. It shows that serious research, in contrast to technocratic myths, by no means has led to a disenchantment of the world, but can decisively deepen and expand our understanding of reality. I might have to read it. Thanks for sharing. I have to look him up. I've got a few too many books to read, but my birthday, well, is eventually coming up here in November, so that week I usually take my week off to read a book. So maybe I'll see if I can fit in a few books. Maybe I can fit this one in. Cool. Thanks, man. Woo. At least you shared something. Oh, I know, right? At least you shared something that didn't immediately piss me off. That's appreciated. You're mixing it up. Good for you. Oh yeah, last week. Was it last week? Last week. Oh God. Girly Bear shared something on about Medicare. Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. She shared something on Biden and Medicare, and oh my God, I was so pissed. So, yeah. That's okay. That's what we're here to do. We're here to get pissed off. This isn't a happy channel. We don't do happy here. Oh, you fucker. See, you're not outright quitting your job. You're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You still performing the duties, but you're no longer subscribed to the hustle culture. Maybe saying no to projects. Okay, good. That might sound appealing, but experts advise proceeding with caution. Consider if rather than getting into the quiet quitting trend, you need to actually quit your job. Quietly quitting is often a sign it's time to move on for your role. Okay, this is oh yeah, so fucking Jesus. Biden is continuing the program that Trump put together to privatize Medicare in the United States. He's continuing it, and I think expanding it too. So we talk about Biden being a Republican. Yeah, I know, right? So that was, not a fan of Biden, but that made it even worse. I was, oh my God, just fuck Biden, right? That's exactly right. Like I say, right? It's conservatives. It's their job to destroy things, and Biden is doing just a fine job of that. Oh my God. All right. Enlightenment 2.0. I shared this already, right? Yes. From 27th. This is from a few days ago. Enlightenment 2.0. We need another age of reason to save our civilization. True statement. A second enlightenment would have a far bigger task, saving civilization itself. That's exactly right, and that's what my policies are all about, saving humanity from extinction. And that requires, much like Fabian's book here, Fabian Scheidler's book, talking about that, it's that shift from the capitalistic separation. We have to shift from capitalist separation to an interdependent collectivism. That's the sort of ideological renaissance that we need. All right. Something extraordinary happened in Europe during the late 17th and 18th centuries as the diversified intellectual explosion known as the Enlightenment swept across the continent. The light in Enlightenment is the light of reason, a distant echo from Plato's allegory cave where truth, so bright that it could blind you, can only be reached through the diligent exercise of reason. Philosophers and natural scientists, artists and political scientists, all of them fiercely defended an individual's freedom to reason without the influence of politics and religion, and to use that reason in pursuit of a society based on equal rights for all men. That was a person's ticket to intellectual and political freedom. Yeah, so I studied this a little bit when I was first getting into politics, because then I was studying Christianity and Christianity and the faith of the founding fathers, and the founding fathers of the United States were products of the Enlightenment. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like the Masons in the 1700s, during the Enlightenment, they expanded to include nobility and to include other intellectuals that are products of the Enlightenment. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Still elitist, still aristocratic, but it was interesting to read about. For sure, many of the enlightened philosophers would nowadays be deemed racist who place the civilized European white man at the apex of society. True. But the core message of the Enlightenment Project was the need to create a global civilization with moral values, shared and universal, that prevailed over monarchic and ecclesiastical powers. The Enlightenment declared war on the excess of religion and of blind nationalism that we That we can use. Yeah, true statement. True fucking statement. Adam Smith, for example, defended patriotism not only for one's country, but as a part of the great society of mankind. Immanuel Kant called this global patriotism. We can identify the influence of these ideas on no less than a 20th century thinker, on no less a 20th century thinker than Albert Einstein, who often defended the need to abolish international borders. Truth. There's no other salvation for civilization and even for the human race than the creation of international government with the security on the basis of law, Einstein declared in an interview with the New York Times in September 1945, right after the end of World War II. Right, and so nationalism, of course, as we talk about here, is a huge problem. Like he's saying, we do need to get rid of borders, but that can only happen, the only way that will ever happen is to an extent if we pursue a resource-based economy or something of that nature, because what would enable the getting rid of, something on my monitor there, of national boundaries is claiming the resources of not just the planet, but of the entirety of existence, a common heritage to all of humanity, not just one person or country or business, but all of us. Then once you do that, then the question becomes, well, how do we use all of our resources for the betterment of all of humanity? So that's how we do that. It's the only way that I could see that ever becoming a thing. The contours of a new enlightenment. Moving forward to the 21st century, we can revisit these ideas with our own reality. That is, a reality where globalization is driven not by the removal of political borders, but rather by easy access to information and by new scientific discoveries about our planet and about our place in the universe. Given that the United Nations alone cannot keep order in a highly fractured world driven by greed and resource scarcity, maybe it is time to rethink the ideas of the Enlightenment and propose a new direction for humanity. Yeah, I've got it right over here. But they're right on the core idea is what we need to do. So that's good. But which direction is this? A first step certainly to move beyond the tribal notion of borders, but in the spirit of the original Enlightenment, which placed reason at its center, a new vision for our future should be anchored on the sciences of our times, even if that is different from the traditional mechanistic ways of thought that drove the original Enlightenment. Okay, I've suggested elsewhere that modern astronomy offers a new vision for humanity, which I call, it should be humanocentrism. This is a form of human-centric thinking. This form of human-centric thinking has nothing in the slightest to do with any assumed superiority of the human species, nor does it hold that we are in any way central to the universe. Okay, good. For example, Star Wars fans criticize humanocentrism as the belief that humans are the apex of galactic sentience. Okay. Easy access to scientific information. Yeah, thanks to the Sci-Hub. Yep. Yes, not due to academic institutions. I'm getting gate kept. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, dude. Yeah, I bitched about this before, right? Just fucking, oh, God. Fucking paywalls. Ah! My God. When I was early researching religion, I hit evolutionary psychology and biology. So many fucking paywalls. God, just so much rage. So much of my research has been stopped by a fucking paywall. Oh, my God. Ah! I just want to eat it. Oh, my God. So much rage. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sure. Did you find stuff that you're looking for on Sci-Hub? Or did you hit a wall you can't get beyond? Oh, I've also heard that if you did? Okay, good. I've also heard this from several people on Twitter that if you email the authors, they'll send it to you. I haven't done that myself. I think I've done that once, actually, because they want people to read their stuff. So just keep that in mind too, in case you Sci-Hub isn't enough to get you what you need. Just fucking capitalism, fucking everything up. Sorry. In a nutshell, human centrism is an inversion of Copernicanism. They're generally happy. Yeah, awesome, good. In a nutshell, human centrism is an inversion of Copernicanism, which states that the more we learn about the cosmos, the less important we become. Okay, good. Copernicanism is a doctrine of human insignificance in the grand scheme of things. Right, and that's the core part of what the problem is. We're not interdependent whole of our ecosphere here on the planet, but we're also a part of the cosmos at large. As Sagan would say, we are star stuff. Now, I posted the chart there in Discord a while ago, showing, yeah, exactly, showing that showing what type of stars all of the elements in all of existence come from. Yeah, it's super neat. I found this once before and lost it, and then I found it again, so I had to share it there just to make sure I had it. Yeah, it's really, it's like you're talking about here. It's really humbling to know that literally the hydrogen in the water came from stars, and the oxygen, everything else came from different stars. It's this sort of a thing that, you know, people who are religious, it's harder to have this sort of a well, it's not impossible. But just, yeah, it is. Just understanding how fucking small you are, how insignificant you are in the scheme of things. Just we're nothing. We're not even we're not even like an atom in the existence of the cosmos. We're probably not even an electron in the scheme of the cosmos. We may not even be quarks in the scheme of the entirety of existence. We're just so small and inconsequential. It's just, we're subquarks. I know there's things that make up leptons. There are things that make up quarks too. So maybe we're a sub quark or something. I don't know. When my book for the next week is literally the end of everything that talks about the end of the universe, out by Katie Mack, but with an optimistic outlook. Oh, cool, neat. Yeah, if you visited Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur, he has the end of time. What is it? Civilization at the End of Time, where he goes through how humanity might exist in an existence where there are no stars left, and looking at iron stars and a bunch of other things. Yeah, that should be interesting to read. It's really interesting to go into things like that and figure out, you know, people already have an understanding how once all the stars are gone, how humanity might exist. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Fucking mind-boggling. Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur. I've told you guys about this so many times because it's such an amazing channel. My God, SFIA. I'm so behind on it. I've got so many videos. No. That I have to watch. Here we go.
Humanity has come a long.
I found this from when I was doing my article on the Kardashev scale. Such an amazing channel. I stayed up for nights, like till midnight, 1 o'clock for several weeks, watching a bunch of this stuff. He covers future tech, space travel, colonization, aliens. If you're into that sort of stuff, like this is our college's video that we watched last year. That's here. My interstellar policies have links to this. So yeah. Civilization at the End of Time. Let's check his playlist. I'll share this. My God. So yeah, oh my God. Time. Here we go. Civilization at the End of Time. I'll send you the playlist. There you go. Mostly avoiding space, that philosophy that deals with physics, the universe, the mind. Okay, all right. Well, if you get interested, he's got a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah. Good stuff. I love the channel so much. All right, here we go. Its central goal is to push humanity to find and embrace a new moral imperative. As we scan the skies in search of other Earth-like planets using vehicles such as the sensational Kepler satellite that has found thousands of exoplanets, And as we understand better the history of life on Earth, we learn something new and essential about our planet, the nature of life, and who we are. So like here they're using dashes. I use dashes on occasion, but I don't know what is the correct, if there is a correct way to use them. It's almost like, yeah, so that's just hit my mind. I don't use them that often, but Indeed, human centrism is deeply linked to biocentrism, which defends the central importance of life in the universe. Well, when I'm writing, like, I write things, so sometimes I use parentheses a lot. I use a lot of parentheticals, but dashes, it's just like, sometimes I'll use a parenthetical phrase, or I'll use dashes. Just sometimes it feels like one should more correct than the other, but I don't know how to use them correctly. It's just, I do enough writing that I should know, but I have never looked that up. There's got to be rules. I mean, there's rules for everything. And I'm sure one of the ladies I work with, my other half. Yeah, I don't remember anything from high school talking about that. She's amazing. She's so amazing. She's getting her doctorates in studying what the experience that disabled people go through when in higher education. She just got some of her participants in her study, like recently, so that's awesome. Prior, she'd been teaching English, and she writes so well. She writes so well, and she speaks so well. It's I'm not that good. I know that. But it's just so humbling just to see her, write and talk. It's so cool. So maybe I should ask her on Monday. That's a good idea. I'll ask her on Monday if she can explain it to me. Yeah. Good idea, Gaming Mind. Thanks for that. Okay, so the link is unavoidable given that we are deeply codependent with all other forms of life on the planet, and all forms of life are deeply codependent with the planet as a whole. There's a delicate systemic balance based on feedback loops that regulate the dynamics between planet and life, and we attack it relentlessly. Yeah, that would be nice. Feel free. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can remember that. I'll probably post it on Discord in the general channel. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Until we embrace a new life-centric perspective, our project of civilization will not be sustainable. So human-centrism is a branch of biocentrism focused on what we can do as a species to guarantee our collective future. Yeah, I don't have a name for like what I call my concept of the 8 philosophical pillars for peace. What sort of a philosophy that is. So I wonder if this is close enough. There is no place like home. Even if there are other planets or moons with properties like Earth's, sharing similar mass, liquid water, and oxygen-rich atmosphere. See, there's dashes here. Our planet and its geophysical properties are unique with its large moon, its tectonic plates, its thick atmosphere, and magnetic poles. These properties are key ingredients to the success that life has had here. They have provided a climate that stays stable across ages and protection from harmful cosmic radiation. Thriving on this propitious background, single-celled bacteria evolved into multicellular organisms, complex multicellular life forms, and finally intelligent beings. Right, and this is exactly right. The planet Earth does have a unique set of things going on, and the moon, of course, is a large part of it. The active core, the moon, which creates the tides, and the moon, which circles, which also makes the tectonic plates active and keeps them active, the magnetic poles, which I'm fairly sure comes from the spinning molten interior of the planet. Then also I heard Mars or Jupiter, and their magnetic field also helps to protect us from some of the stuff, the cosmic winds and radiation that goes by. Each of these transitional steps was delicate and improbable, and the process is linked to the planet. Some steps transformed Earth itself, like the oxygenation of the early Earth's atmosphere by photosynthetic bacteria. We have learned that if there is complex life elsewhere, it will be rare and very distant from us. For all practical purposes, we are alone. And we as a species matter because we are so rare. Yeah, and that's one of the things that in Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur that they talk about. They have a lot. Yeah. I mean, it has to be because we don't see any anywhere else. I mean, I just watched a video from SFIA last night. It was one of the Fermi paradox videos. He's got a whole bunch of Fermi paradox videos talking about that. So it's pretty interesting. It's like if a civilization existed, if they would even be curious. Oh yeah, they would be. And it's like if you're searching for life, it shouldn't be hard to find if they have radio, right? Because radio stuff goes all out throughout the universe. We just haven't found anything even close. Even with the James Webb Telescope looking, 11 billion years into the past. I mean, they're just starting to search now, but it's possible that somehow that the perfect set of circumstances existed and we had life billions of years ago, but it's highly unlikely.
The following is a conversation.
The origin of life. Oh, this is a long one. Who's this dude? Oh, okay, cool. Sarah Walker, the origin. Okay, I'll check it out. Cool. Yeah, so. But you hate him? Okay. Why don't you like him? He's got almost a face of a libertarian. Is he right-leaning? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's hard to like. All right, the philosophers of the Enlightenment viewed intelligent, complex life on other worlds as a given. Voltaire's Micromegas is a great and fun example of this assumption, exploring human hubris from the perspective of vastly superior aliens. Quite mercenary. Hey man, how you doing? My voice is quiet? Okay. Hello. Hello. Is it a little bit better? Do I have a way of turning this up? Yeah, I'm trying a new. Okay, this looks like it's a little bit better. I'm in the yellow. Is this better? Okay, good. So I'm using a new microphone setup, so I'm not quite sure if it's working well enough. Okay, good. How you doing, Quiet Mercenary? Yeah, right now I'm only streaming on Saturdays. So hopefully at some point I'll pick up another day or two, but we'll see. Saturdays at 2 p.m. Central till 5 p.m. Central. So better? Did you get COVID too? Everyone's getting COVID. I haven't. We're reading this one. Come on. And we read this one. We're only two articles in so far. Yeah, my boss just had COVID again. Another one of my coworkers just had COVID. A friend of my daughter's just had COVID. Still out there. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Our family hasn't had any so far, but yeah, a lot of people have. I do know quite a few people who haven't had it yet. Oh, and my another one of my daughter's friends had COVID too. My daughter's 12. I know she's had it several times. It boils down, if you're not careful, you're going to get it. And one of these days, when you're playing COVID roulette, it's going to suck. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully if you're boosted and everything, that it's not going to suck. Lung damage, brain damage, heart damage, ear damage, long-term COVID, diabetes and stuff. I think diabetes was mostly only in children. Sounds like without a compressor? Okay. Okay, that's mic gain. Okay, this is volume. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, whoa. That's a little better. I can't hear myself. Let me, I thought I had it fixed. So it sounded okay. Oh my God. Son of a bitch in a box. Next week I'll be able to fix this better. So I'm getting a new video card so I can use the NVIDIA. Oh my God. Oh my God, look. So I can use the NVIDIA. This doesn't sound so bad. Oh my God, look. This doesn't sound so bad. Okay, good. This doesn't sound so bad. This doesn't sound so bad. Okay, good. This doesn't sound so bad. Okay. Yeah, next week I'll mess with it. I got the video card so I can use the NVIDIA fancy thing, and then it should sound better. I was using the XLR input to my Go XLR, but that hasn't been working properly. It's been having a lot of background noise. So I bought the Shure something adapter, which you see here, and that makes it a USB mic. So now that it's USB, I can. Okay. All right. Good. Quiet background noise. Okay. Yeah. Next week I'm gonna try. I'll have the new video card. And then also I will try and put together my the Beacon Mix Create. I had issues with it on my laptop, my work laptop. So I'll try and put it on here. Then I'll have a mixer that I can mess with, and then I'll have everything ready to go. On Trump. What are your thoughts on Trump coming back? You think he'll win? Bar 8, welcome. Nice to have you. I don't know. It's really hard to say because, Biden is a fucking shitstorm of jack shit doing. He's a lying dog-faced pony soldier, right? I mean, he's fucking horrific. And Bernie said if Biden runs, he's not going to, which is frankly bullshit. But, I get it. That's the way Bernie runs, and he's, that's the way it is. I know, right? It's. I remember that from when he was quoted. He was attacking some union worker who was, going after him because he's a fucking anti-union fuckhead. And Biden called him a lying dog-faced pony soldier. It's such an awesome mix of words put together in a phrasing. So it's really cool. I don't know. It really, especially with the 1.6 and a lot of other things that's going on, that a lot of people understand he's a liar, a con man, and a fraud, and he's left a lot of his supporters out to dry. So I think I don't know if the Republicans will take him. If he does run, he'll probably run independent and if he does that, I don't know. I don't think he's going to win if he does run, regardless of who they run. But I think that if the Democrats pick someone, they probably will. Because the money. He's a money machine. But I don't know. But if they run someone like, fucking Kamala or what the fuck is face, Buttigieg, I think Trump running might really make it a very difficult, very intense electoral season. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see as we get closer. Hopefully he gets completely ignored and he gets booted and he runs independent. That would be my preference, so that he can get accused of being a spoiler because he's horrible. I honestly hope that the Forward Party runs someone too for president. I'm not really pro Forward Party, but it'd be nice to have another independent who's somewhat left-leaning to run as well. I don't know. We'll see. Bolsonaro will win. Ooh. I think I'm not really up on that. That's Brazil. For as horrible as Bolsonaro is, I think Lula might win but I don't know that much about that. I guess it's going to really depend on how much the U.S. is going to interfere with it. Hopefully the people will at least get someone not so horrible. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to, if you have any, well, the U.S. engaged in a coup in Brazil to install Bolsonaro, right? He's a right-leaning puppet set up by the U.S. I don't know when that happened. They did it once, they can do it again. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, pretty much every single country in Central and South America has been fucked with by the U.S. in one form or another and has been destroyed by a U.S. coup and installed a right-wing dictator there. Yeah. We'll see if there's a... Yeah, search for U.S. coup, Bolsonaro, Brazil, and you should be able to find something on that. Yeah, the U.S. is fucked with every single country down there. Every single one of them. Almost. But some are fighting back, like Venezuela's fighting back, and they've got a decent thing going on. Chile is getting a brand new constitution, hopefully, which looks amazing. We went over that last week. Some really very good stuff in there. Yeah. So eventually, a lot of these countries, Venezuela, yep. Doesn't Venezuela have a left-leaning person in? They were, but I think they overthrew that dictator, and they've got someone decent in there now who's going to nationalize things. I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure about Chile. Chile, as they're working on a brand new constitution. Went over that last week, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, there you go. You have a Brazilian friend who supports Bolsonaro, says he says Lula was arrested. Yeah, and that's just him lying about stuff, most likely. Yeah, I don't know either, but as far as there's a lot of corruption there, a lot of corruption going down there in Brazil. Like I said, I don't know that much about it, but yeah, it's hard because when Bolsonaro was in charge for so very long, people don't know who to support, especially with the media and stuff in there. Tends to be, in most countries which were authoritarian for a very long time, tend to support their dictators. So yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion based on limited understanding. Mostly what I cover is, capitalism in general, but U.S. politics. I don't get into, Portugal? Portugal legalized all drugs. They're, I think, the first country to do it. They're amazing for that. Amazing. I don't know, 20 years ago or 15 years ago they did that? It's awesome. It sucks not having a party you like. Yeah. You can find, there's lots of articles on that sort of a thing. It is poggers, very poggers. Okay, since you're new here, let me share this so you know. This is my blog. I blog about politics and capitalism and resource-based economies, and this is my policy site. I've got over 200 pages of policies here. So if you really want to get yourself to sleep, I've got a lot of stuff here for you to read and see where I stand politically. I'm very left-leaning. I say I'm radical left, but some would cast me as not quite radical, but moderate left. So mileage may vary on that. Yeah, I concentrate mostly on U.S. stuff because I'm from the U.S. I'm from Wisconsin here. And then, capitalism, climate change, coronavirus. Then we also do sustainable energy, sustainable technologies, and future tech and technology and that sort of stuff. It's mostly what we cover here. I don't think we have any tech here today. Oh, a little bit. There's one. Yeah, just a little bit of technology today, but a lot of capitalism and resource pollution and resource-based, capitalism and pollution stuff that we have today. Yeah, I just shared the two. Did I share? You popped in before I shared them. Yes. Okay, so this is what we're going through now, and we had covered this one previously. So the first one was creating the Capitalocene, endless accumulation, and we are just about to finish Enlightenment 2.0. We need another age of reason to save our civilization. Okay, where is this? There we go. We're down here. All right. All right, let's go ahead and finish this. And since we are here only because Earth allows us to be, note teleology implied here, only a reference to dynamic geophysical conditions. See, more dashes. We must also celebrate our planet as being unique. Human reason and curiosity, which allows us to comprehend our place in the universe, should lead us toward a new moral imperative, universal in its values, the equality of all creatures, and the preservation of life and of this planet. Yeah, I agree. Good stuff here. Good stuff here. And in my policies, I've tried to kind of embody this sort of ideal. Looking at phase 1, the 8 philosophical pillars for peace. This is kind of the very core of all my policies right here. The 8 philosophical pillars for peace. The most important part of my policies, religion and Christianity. So I have a giant post on religion. I go through the foundations where religion comes from. Religion is an evolution, for me, and from what I wrote in that article, is religion is an evolutionary adaptation. So let me just pull it up. Let's read it. I'll read the two important parts here. Religion is developed as an evolutionary adaptation after humanity evolved from more of a reptilian brain reactive species to a moral animal brain proactive species with increased brain size and capacity, intelligence, creativity, curiosity, and ability to innovate. More specifically, because of those intellectual increases, superstitions and religions developed as a coping strategy to help humanity, especially in our earliest formative moments, to compensate for the increased awareness of our ignorance, agency, mortality, and self-awareness. Superstitions and religions are human constructs that take our collective and individual ignorances and fears and personifying and labeling them through imaginary anthropomorphic entities such as witches, gods, and so on and so forth. So I have some great videos on here if you want to read what I have, some great, amazing videos. But the really big thing to kind of hold on to, not just that it's a evolutionary adaptation to deal with our ignorance and our fear, but also to get to a world beyond religion is only possible if we evolve beyond monetary systems. Because monetary systems requires inequality, requires suffering and poverty. And then there's this article here that I wrote that you can read that kind of talks about the foundations of this global suffering that is required from monetary systems. So, yeah, if you want to read more on that, it's all in there. Religion is, as we have it today, is going to exist in some form or another until we at least have evolved beyond monetary systems. And then once we get to a resource-based economy, then I expect it to be something no more than a what's the word? A curiosity, because most people won't be religious then once we evolve beyond a resource-based economy. And if you want to read about that, resource-based economy, that's all under my global change. Here's that first post that talks about it. So you can read about that. So there's your weekend reading list. If you get bored. Yeah, not a fan of religion. I grew up, my parents went to a Methodist church, but we stopped going when I was 8 or 9, so I wasn't indoctrinated. We had to know like what Christmas was, thinking of starting business, what are tips? Oh. I do have a few small businesses. God, you're in a different country though. That makes it much more difficult. Well, find out what your laws are first. like we have LLCs and corporations, stuff like that. You have to learn about that and figure out what that is. Now, depending on what your business is, if you can get a Google account, socialist country, okay. Yeah, I don't know what your laws are for that sort of thing. You have to figure out what those laws are and kind of go from there. That's the first thing. You have to know what the laws are. Otherwise, you'll get destroyed. And then you want to look at something like maybe Google Docs. Get a Google Docs account that supports your, so that you can use that for tools. Get a website. Get someone to put your website together. That's going to be key, of course. You can start with Facebook and kind of go from there. I use WordPress for all my stuff. It's once you get it installed. Like how to make sure you're ethical. Look at my policies. If you want to understand what the sort of things you should do, my economic thing here, I talk about pay. I talk about how businesses should be reformed. Let me. Do I say ethical? What do I say? Oh, where do I say it? Let's look over here. Ethical. Where do I put it? Okay. So with your business, start with the first priority of your business is making the world a better place for other humans. Then the second, well, on the same level, your two first priorities is make sure that your business, makes the world a better place for the environment, or at least not make it worse. And then your third concern should be money. So if you care about humanity and making life better for all of them, as well as not harming the environment or possibly even making the world a better place for the environment, it would be hard to go wrong, because your first thought is humanity and your second thought or equal thought is going to be the environment. That's the core part of what capitalism doesn't have. Capitalism thrives off the separation of humanity from itself, and thrives off the separation of humanity from the natural world. So in order to do something that's ethical, you really have to go against exactly what capitalism is. You have to have a business that is based on interdependence, the interdependence of humanity with itself and the interdependence of humanity with the natural world. Start there. And then if you want a lot more of that, check my economic policies for how, sort of things you should do. You can start your business if you have people working for you. I don't know if you have employee-owned businesses or co-ops available. Climate change yes. Yeah, yes. I'm climate doomer here, where basically if we are not significantly carbon negative, basically all life on this planet is going extinct in the next 1 to 200 years. Yeah, we're screwed. We are very, very, very screwed. And the sorts of policies that you need to combat that are here. I'm from the U.S. I'm very U.S.-centric with my policies. So cutting back U.S. military by 75% and shifting all that over to the environment. Shifting to sustainable energy and mass transportation and stuff like that is the sorts of things you need to look at doing to help. But yeah, we're pretty much fucked. In order to really, so if a country was really serious, but no military, Russia and China will trample you. Well, impossible, and that's not necessarily. I mean, a war can be waged in ways other than physical. I mean, you have to have a military, but you don't need to spend, almost $1 trillion every fucking year in the military. You can outsmart Russia or China by does a lot to combat it. Yeah. Oh yeah. You concentrate on sustainable energy. concentrate on food. You can engage in a form of warfare, or not warfare, a method of becoming a global power in such a way that they kind of rely on you by building sustainable energy, making sure that they rely on your technology, right? I mean, if you're not, I worry about Russia and China too. I do. That's even when I talk about my policies, reducing military by 75%. Well, the question always is, well, who's going to be the world's police? Not that we're the largest global terrorists in the world, but who's going to deal with them when they get uppity, like Russia most likely will, because they're very expansionist. Well, what I say is we have to rely on international collaboration. NATO is not a good thing. UN isn't also a good thing currently because it's fairly corrupt, but we need some sort of a global collaborative military that can fight against that. Is someone who planned, yes, exactly. Yeah, and that's the problem. If the United States stopped being the world's largest terrorist organization, we would have so much advancement in the world. Because Central and South America, Africa, India would be radically different. And my policies talk about what we need to do for that as well. It's like my policies, I try to fix all the problems that we face as a species and fix it. I don't have all the answers, but I try. I try really hard. Well, no. Corruption primarily comes out of poverty and inequality. Yeah, everything is corrupt in its own special way. But Africa has never been poor. Africa has just been looted by the West. With the U.S., the CIA is for spreading peace and democracy. Exactly. But the U.S. Africa has been looted by, actually, I have an image of this. The Africa has never been poor. The West is just, the United States and Europe, the West has been looting it for hundreds of years. Okay, it's not here. It's over here. Reparations. Carl Sagan. Yeah, see right here? Oh, shit. Okay. So you kind of see here that, Central South America, Africa has been looted by the United States and Europe. They're not poor. And if we stop looting them and pay them reparations for the hundreds and hundreds of years we've been looting them, which is part of my policies, that all that corruption and stuff would change radically. And the core part of what corruption comes from is money. Ooh, I don't know. Can I? Nice. I think
this episode is brought to
Oh, this is the one. I think I have this in my policies, actually. Yeah, if you want to learn more about the U.S. as a terrorist organization, if you go to my policies here, I have a bunch of links on that. Why don't you believe in reparations? That I'm curious about. Right here, whole bunch, right there. It's why? Tell me why, son. I talk about it. Let me talk about it here. I don't know. Do I talk about it here? No, reparations. So reparations are going to be needed to combat climate change. Come on, you can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. No, you can't. No, you can't. Did I move it or something? Yeah, okay, it's right here. Okay, I'll talk about it a little bit. So, tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never want to hear you say, I want it that way. Ooh, fancy. I just think if we go back and try to right every wrong in the I agree. There's a lot to that. And that's why, I don't have the full answer for reparations, but ultimately, like what you see here in these two images, these are all the things that Africa has, and it's all been taken to the global north. Even China now. I think that although we did terrible things, they are also way more advanced without our intervention than they would without. Well, no, they've been. I mean, they're right here, right? We've been looting them for hundreds of years. Africa was enslaved. Central and South America, especially the United States, has engaged coup after coup. Yeah, coup after coup, and then the exploitation of the global South. I mean, it's horrific what we have done to them. The United States and Europe owes literally trillions of dollars in reparations to the South. Yeah, I mean, not terrible is not the word for it. Horrific isn't even the word for it. I don't know if there's a word that's worse than horrific. I mean, it's bad what we've done to Africa and Central and South America. I mean, it's super bad. White people have spread like a plague across the world and exploited and murdered and raped and looted nonstop without giving a care for anything that they did. Yeah, that's what I figured. I thought that the CIA video was in the policy page. Yeah. Check out my policy page to look at a whole bunch of links about the U.S. imperialism and the CIA and coups and stuff like that. If you want another good source, Abby Martin from the Empire Files, she is fucking awesome. She's been covering the. She's on Twitter. She got booted. She's at where's she at? Well, here I'll give you. Here's her Twitter. Abby Martin is amazing. The way we left was nasty as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Abby Martin has pretty much concentrated most of her career on U.S. imperialism. The Empire Files, Portugal in specific, after dictatorship, we left them without a care, and they had a 30-year civil war. Yeah. Well, the United States doesn't care. Whoops, did I open that? Look for the Empire Files. That was her long-running. Is it still up?
Half the people were like very angry and like.
Oh, her stuff is still here. Okay, so this is her channel. If you want to talk about U.S. imperialism, it's all right here. That's been her thing for a very long time. Oh, did I? No, someone shared this, right? 450 gigawatts of solar wind. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yes, U.S. empire. Yep. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, the U.S. is fucked with every single country down there in one form or another, and it's bad. It's bad what we've done to them. So as far as reparations, and be looking at climate change specifically, not just, climate change and dealing with how we've been raping and pillaging the global South, Africa, and Central and South America. Literally, Europe and the United States have to give trillions and trillions of dollars to Africa, Central and South America, just in reparations for the horrors we've inflicted to them over hundreds of years. Now, the advantage of this is that if we give it to them, basically the opposite of the IMF and the World Bank, which are method of inflicting economic warfare in the global South, that we give them this trillions of dollars to these countries and have them all shift to sustainable energy. I'll have them all shift to mass transportation and vertical farming and things of that nature, so that because currently what Central and South America, India, Africa are doing, that they're going through the fossil fuel age, and that's contributing, not as much as we are, of course, to climate change. I don't care, and I don't believe in the big lie anyway, but since I haven't cared to look, how do you explain the Wisconsin graph in 2020 election with 300 Biden votes? Way late. There's two things: vote by mail, and then it was U.S. military votes from overseas. I think that's what it is. I think the last bunch was for military votes. I think. Yeah, I know people on Twitter are watching the 1/6 thing all the time, and I just can't watch it. It's just such a clusterfuck. Just nothing good will come of it. If he does get indicted and put in prison, I might definitely see. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Might just have to do with the Wisconsin laws and the way that it was implemented. I'm not sure. Oh yeah. Trump is a liar, a con man, and a fraud. But if he does get found guilty and goes to jail or something, I think that Biden will pardon him. That would be awesome. Probably. You probably have another 1-6 happen again. But I think a lot of those that took part in 1-6 and are going to jail are realizing how much they got fucked over. And that, Trump isn't doing anything for them. They realize that he's a liar. So that might not be a thing. I don't know. It really depends on how people fall. If people actually learn from that whole shit show that, he is what he is and he should be in jail. But Biden being the Republican, if Trump wins, he said he'll pardon them. I don't know if that might happen. He might do that. Giving congressional medals and pardoning people who are horrible. Sure, it might be possible, but he might not. I don't know. But if Biden wins, if Biden is the president when he gets indicted and possibly goes to jail, then I kind of expect Biden to pardon him, possibly, because if he doesn't, then that breaks the chain of basically immunity for presidents. When a president's been found guilty, they are typically, because the people in power can't lose their power. If people end up going to jail, if presidents end up going to jail, then that string of the immunity of presidents from the law ends. Well, it may not end, but that's maybe what it symbolizes. And that might actually end up giving people ideas about holding presidents accountable. It's better to make sure that they stay, people stay, what's the word? Not despairing. Anti-system? No, he's not. He's just one of them. He talks that way to get people to vote for him, but he's one of the rich people, right? He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He did things to help all he did was give money to his rich friends. He talks populist, but he governs like just another fucking rich capitalist, just like Biden. Right? Billions and billions of dollars were given to corporations and his friends. So yeah, Trump is a little bit different when he ran for office because we didn't know what he would do politically. I mean, we could look back and see what he is, a liar, con man, a fraud, and expect that. But we didn't have, what he would do politically. But now we definitely see that. But big tech media, well, they do like him because media gave him hundreds, if not thousands of hours of free coverage. That greatly increased his ability to run. And there's stats on this, how much they mentioned like Bernie versus Trump, how much free coverage he got. Because the Clintons asked Trump to run, because they wanted Trump to be the guy to run so that people would vote for Hillary out of fear. At work. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, capitalism is all about making the rich people rich and keeping the rest of us peasants poor. So we can blame Hillary Clinton, the Clintons, for Trump. There's plenty of evidence for that. All right. To you, me too. Don't hold your breath. Don't count on it. Because everyone is against you. I planned on it too. The system will work against you. Yep, they funded him. That's exactly right. All right, let's read this. This will kind of talk about, when I talk about reparations, this article will help you possibly see why we need to do reparations that way through for sustainable energy to the global south, and how it actually makes huge ass sense. Gilead, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you again. How you been doing? Yeah, we're just about ready to start our third article. I'll go ahead and share it again, just so you get it. What do you mean by sustainable energy? Which types? Not good. I'm good so far. Very good. A whole lot's been happening here, but very good. Not nuclear, not fossil fuel. How's that? So, wind, solar. Well, here's my policies on that, so you can get a clear picture of where I sit for that. Anti-nuclear. Yeah, I was in the U.S. Navy on a nuclear reactor. I was a reactor operator. You can read my policies there. I go through it. Basically, if anything happens to a reactor, like a missile, earthquake, it's not clean. It's not at all clean. You see that with the Russian one, my brain. The Japan and Russian nuclear reactors, right? The area around the nuclear reactor in Russia it's a toxic radioactive wasteland. All it takes is one reactor to get split open by a missile or an earthquake or something like that, and then you've got a whole bunch of area, miles and miles of a nuclear wasteland, and that radiation will get into the water and into the air, and people are going to die, and cancer. It'll take millions of years to make that land usable again, unless we have significant technological breakthroughs that allow us to find that stuff and filter it out of the water and out of the air. It's devastating. I know people like to talk about it as clean, but it's not. For me, it's not. I know it may be more extreme than some, but in a nutshell, yeah. So kind of where I land on my policies is that if the nuclear reactor is operating, let it operate, and then when it's done, decommission it. I mean, there's no sense in decommissioning it for end of life. Yeah, you too, man. Have a great week, and feel free to follow me, and we can talk again. It's not very problematic unless it's very, very strong. Yeah, about Tran, nobody died. Right. I know about that. They were older reactors. They weren't modern, fifth generation, blah, 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 blah. But with climate change and stuff like that going on, it's going to be a much bigger issue. You got flooding, earthquakes are going to be more of a thing. You got volcanoes. All it takes is one reactor. All it takes is one. We don't have that issue with other things. We don't need nuclear. So what we need is concentrating on geothermal, especially deep geothermal, and tidal stream and ocean. Tidal stream, tidal wave and stream energy, and then like high altitude wind turbines. Those are the three things we need for baseload power. Is nuclear, wind, and solar. Simply not sustainable. Right, that's why I'm not, I don't have a problem with nuclear and solar, but that's why tidal, geothermal, and high altitude wind turbines or high altitude power satellites is the way to go for baseload power. Wind and solar, it's like you said, it's intermittent. You have to have batteries, which is an additional expense to that. So yeah, it's work towards baseload power. For 3 minutes of power? Yeah. That's why they need to shift geothermal and tidal wave and that sort of stuff. Those should be the two big ones that the world is concentrating on. Those two things. And then if we can get high altitude wind as well, possibly solar, high altitude solar, that works great too. But other things, it's intermittent, and that's problematic. The wind turbines with weight attached? Which? Oh, the one in the water. Yeah, yeah. So that's fine too. I mean that's water based, and that's fine. That's a way to store it. I know they're yeah. If you go to my Discord, I share a lot of links there in my environment and sustainability thing. You can check a lot of it there. Right. I know. That's exactly right. And that was my first thing. So there's a technology from a company called Eavor. And there's a link there in my Discord. That it's what the fuck can I call it? They call it deep. Jesus Christ. What do they call it? Eavor geothermal? They call it. Oh, Evor. What do they call it? Yeah, we've covered that here too. That it's only really good in certain areas. But if you do this deep well, what the fuck do they call it? Deep well. Is it? No, it's not these guys. It's not these guys. What is it? Hold on. Let me find it. There's this one company that can go super deep. Currently, the best thing for environment is to push hard for gas. No, you do not want gas. I know people are pushing that. The European Union just did that. It's a part of their Eavor. What is it? Deep. Yeah, geothermal is the way to go. Oh, where is it? I had to go back a while. Oh, it's in my policy page. Hold on. And longer term is to build more. Nuclear bad. Hold on, where is this? I'll find it. It's listed in here. Oh my God. No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. You're talking about it as a transitional fuel. I get that. But what we need to be doing is, here we go. It's, the fuck is it? Ultra deep geothermal. There we go.
This video is brought to you by Surf.
Here we go. Ultra deep geothermal. This is it. Gas is still bad. I mean, as a transitional thing, okay, whatever. But ultimately, we need to get rid of all fossil fuels. Full stop. There you go. So ultra deep geothermal gets beyond that problem. It's still experimental, and they're about to do a proof of concept for it. But doing geothermal where we can, and then once we get to this, I can't even remember it now. Fucking Jesus Christ. Ultra deep geothermal, then we can do geothermal everywhere. And then tidal, wave, and stream, that's what we need to be concentrating on. There's enough, we can do that all around the entire coast of the US in one form or another. There's lots of different ways of harnessing the oceans for energy. Then again, high altitude wind turbines as well. Yeah, I can get on board with gas as a transitional thing as they're shifting to something else. Okay, lesser of the evils. All right, I can buy that, but it's not a long-term thing. It's a very short-term thing. I mean, because when you look at where we're at, if we are not massively negative as a globalized civilization, if we are not massively negative in carbon, it's human extinction. It's extinction of all life on this planet in the next 100 plus years, 100 to 200 years. That's where we're going, because the curves on this are going up, and it's not good. We're not going to be able to stop it. Indeed, a guillotine is no miracle tech. Quite old, in fact. Yeah, we need... And no, the Earth will still be here, but most life on this planet will be gone in the next few hundred years. We are currently in the end of days. It's end of days at climate scales. And we're seeing the flooding, the temperatures, the droughts, all sorts of horrible things going on. Everything's on fire. No, I cannot. check my environmental policies. I've got lots of links there. I have a whole bunch of links there in my environment and sustainability on Discord too. There won't be a whole lot of life left on this planet in the next 200 years. Because that temperature is going to keep going up and up and up and up, and it's going to keep going up, and then droughts, famine, it's all going to happen. And the United States if the United States is not the lead on climate change, because we are basically one of the largest polluters in the world, especially if you take into account the military, the U.S. military. If we are not the vanguard of the war on climate change, we're fucked. It's just that simple. And the United States isn't doing anything. It won't do anything for climate change because there's no real money in, saving humanity from extinction. Fire has everything to do with climate change. No, it's not. Sure, there's some bad wood management there. Floods and droughts did increase. Yeah, they did. They most surely did. And so did the severity of them. And fires have definitely increased. I mean, the Arctic's been on fire. A bunch of places have been on fire, much more. I wouldn't say Corona is due to climate change. It may be spreading more due to climate change and warmer weather, but I don't know. Check IFCC. Put it in here. Take a look. What's the IFCC? International FUBAR. Yeah, throw it in here. I'll try and take a look at it. Should maybe rephrase that to pandemics. Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, exactly right. There's a lot of viruses and bacteria that are being released from the permafrost up north. And so that's going to release things that we've never seen before. And then, of course, the temperatures rising, especially in the global north, is going to make it much more. You're incorrect. There's quite a few sources that are claiming that. Scientists are. Effectively, if we are not globally, massively negative in our carbon, the temperature is going to keep going up, and then we're fucked. We're currently fucked because we're not shifting to a very carbon negative society. Because the temperature is going up like this. In order for the temperature to turn around, we have to be like this, very negative, just to get it to level off. Currently, we're seeing droughts. We're seeing oysters being baked. IPCC, gotcha. We did go over that a little bit on here. Oysters are being baked alive. Berries are being baked alive. Wheat fields are being baked. There's going to be this next 100 years, we're going to see a lot of problems, a lot of droughts, a lot of famine. It's just going to get worse. Worse and worse and worse and worse. My daughter is going to grow up in that. So I don't know. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Scientist did set himself on fire. Yep, at the footsteps of the cap because no one listens to the climate scientists about how dire. Yep, yeah, that's exactly right. And in Europe, there's a lot more listening because they're actually doing stuff. Some of them are close to Paris agreements, but in the United States isn't doing jack shit. And as long as the United States is not, the leader in climate change, the war on climate change, we're fucked, period. Well, of course not, because they have to be much more political about it. But the scientists themselves are definitely not. We're fucked. We're fucked, period. But I appreciate that you're not panicking. I am. Game over, man. Game over. All right. So again, when you look at why the United States, why if the United States was on the vanguard, the very edge of the war on climate change, this here kind of can show you what power that we could have in the fight against climate change. All right, let's go ahead and read this. No miracle tech needed. How to switch to renewables now and lower costs doing it. This is from June 28th. So this is about a month, a little over a month ago. This is from the Hill, so let's be aware here what's going on. They're kind of lib-ish. Let's see what they got to say. The world is also, if some scientists are claiming we can relax, maybe we should listen to the 90% of the climate scientists screaming that we should do something now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And everything I've read, it says we're fucked. Fucked. I have links in my Discord if you want to go there and check it out. I've got a lot there. You'll see a lot of links to sustainable tech in there too. My policies on environment and sustainability has a bunch of links on that too. The world is experiencing unprecedented fuel price increases, energy blackmail between countries, up to 7 million air pollution deaths per year worldwide. Yes, we covered that on here too. 6.8 million deaths per year just due to pollution. And one climate-related disaster after another. Critics contend that a switch to renewable energy to solve these problems will create unstable electricity grids and drive prices up further. Right, so this is the problem with, much as Gilad is talking about, that the issue with solar and wind. That's exactly right. That's why I promote geothermal, especially the ultra deep geothermal, and then wave, tidal, and that sort of stuff, as well as high altitude wind turbine and solar. That's what we need to be concentrating on. However, a new study from my research group at Stanford University concludes that these problems can be solved in each of the 145 countries we examined, without blackouts and at low cost, using almost all existing technologies. The study concludes that we do not need miracle technologies to solve these problems. By electrifying all energy sectors, producing electricity from clean, renewable sources, creating heat, cold, and hydrogen from such electricity, storing electricity, heat, cold, and hydrogen, expanding transmission, and shifting the time of some electricity use, we can create safe, cheap, and reliable energy everywhere. The biggest reason for the cost reduction is that a clean renewable energy system uses much less energy than does a combustion-based energy system. In fact, worldwide, the energy that people actually use goes down by over 56% with an all-electric system powered by clean renewable energy sources. How the fuck do they do that? The reduction is for 5 reasons. Okay, they're going to tell us. Good. The efficiency of electric vehicles over combustion. Okay, all right. The efficiency of electric heat pumps for air and water heating over combustion heaters. Okay. The efficiency of electrified industry, eliminating energy needed to obtain fossil fuels, as well as some efficiency improvements beyond what is expected. Okay. Okay. Not sure if I see 56%, but still, okay, those things make sense. On top of that, a new system also reduces the cost per unit energy by another 12% on average, resulting in a 63% lower annual energy cost worldwide. Yeah, and a part of this, of course, isn't just shifting to sustainable energy, but also increasing efficiency requirements on technology as well. The energy-producing technologies considered included only onshore and offshore wind electricity, solar photovoltaics for electricity on rooftops, and in power plants, concentrated solar power, solar heat, geothermal electricity, and geothermal electricity and heat, hydroelectricity, as well as small amounts of tidal and wave electricity. Sons of bitches. Now, the only reason why they go small amounts of this is because that field of research it's not well supported. And this is one of the things I bitch about when you look at the United States. The United States need to be funding tidal, wave, and stream electricity like a motherfucker. This needs to be a shitload of money needs to be thrown into this. So this research is fairly new. There's some stuff out there that they're working on, and a lot of it's in prototypes. Some of it not in prototypes. Some of it's out there in commercial proof of concepts. But we need a lot more money thrown at this, because once we get tidal and wave consistent, that's baseload power globally. The most important electricity storage technology considered was batteries, although pumped hydroelectric storage, existing hydroelectric dam storage, and concentrated solar power electricity was also treated. Also, since IPC got mentioned, they absolutely did not tell us to relax. Yeah, that's pretty much all the articles we read talking about the IPC said we're fucked. Yeah, exactly. See, I don't like pumped hydro because we're using water, which is going to be something that we're going to need more of because of the heat and the droughts. We found that no batteries with more than 4 hours of storage were needed. Instead, long-duration storage was obtained by concentrating batteries in 4-hour storage together. In a sensitivity test, we found that even if battery prices were 50% higher, overall costs would be only 3.2% higher than their base estimate. And then if you look at, like, Elon Musk is putting together his energy company sort of thing, which is using the paywalls, the Tesla wall and all of his electric cars, all the Tesla cars, as a source of stored energy to supply the grid. Something like that would be a way to do it. Aggregating all into one power company using microgrids, especially that way, would be a good way to do it too. We also considered seasonal heat storage underground in soil plus short-term heat storage in water tanks. Seasonal heat storage is useful for district heating. With district heating, heat is produced and stored in a centralized location, then piped via hot water to buildings for air and water heating. The alternative to district heating is using heat pumps in each building. The study found that the more district heating available, the easier it was to keep the electric grid stable at lower cost, since it reduced the need for batteries to provide immediate electricity to heat pumps. Batteries are more expensive than underground heat storage. Okay, so my only issue with this, like in Belarus, they use district heating. Now, obviously, this is biased towards the level of corruption and the problems there within Belarus, but they basically go a week without hot water and heating while they switch over or something like that. Now, I don't know. I can't imagine that these people are going to, the way they're talking about this, that's what they're going to do. But it's, having it too centralized can create that sort of a problem. If it goes down, a whole bunch of people are fucked. So there'll need to be some level of like microgridding of that sort of a thing to prevent problems. We found that overall upfront costs to replace all energy in the 145 countries, which emit 99.7% of world carbon dioxide, is about $62 trillion. However, due to the 11 trillion annual energy cost savings, the payback time for the new system is less than 6 years. That's fucking mind-boggling. And what I say about my policies, right? If a country is putting together environmental policies that is not over $10 trillion, you're voting for human extinction. That's, this kind of points to it right there. Abolished money already, right? Right? I mean, that's really, that would solve a lot of our problems. Then we could just go, all right, so fuck fossil fuel, let's just shift everything to electric and let's just do it. And then we would do it. Yes. The new system may also create over 28 million long-term full-time jobs, then lost worldwide, and require only about 53% of the world's land, 0.53% of the world's land for new energy, with most of this area being empty space between wind turbines on land that can be used for multiple purposes. Thus, we found that the new system may require less energy, cost less, and create more jobs than the current system. Can we afford to save humanity? What about Exxon stocks? Exactly. Got to worry about Exxon and Mobil and all the other fucking murderers. Think about the fossil fuel industries, you insensitive fucks. I wonder if they'll have the report on here. Do they have the report? I don't know. We'll see. All right, another interesting find was that with a fully renewable system, charging battery electric vehicles during the day was less expensive for the grid than charging them at night, because day charging matched well with solar electricity production, which would makes sense, be more. According to Anna van Crowland, Stanford PhD student who participated in the study. A main implication is that it tells us that for the 145 countries examined, energy security is within reach, and more importantly, how to obtain it. Right, I mean, this is not complicated. All the jobs would be lost at oil companies. That would be, yes, oh my God. The arguments, this drives me nuts. The arguments against universal health care, you're going to take from these employees their hard-fought insurance or some stupid shit like that. It's the way, oh my God, the way they word it is just, it's infuriating. Infuriating. They should not have had to have hard-fought anything to get their insurance. Everyone should have fucking insurance. Son of a bitch. Oh, what time is it? 4 o'clock. Okay, I'll wait here. My card is here. I'll wait. It's important. Yes, it did. So I'm freaking out. So I got an hour left. I'll wait it out. Yes, I'm so excited. As soon as I get done, that's what I'm doing. It's important to note that we did not include technologies that did not address air pollution, global warming, and energy security together. It did not include bioenergy, natural gas, fossil fuels, or bioenergy with carbon dioxide capture. Good, because that's a waste. Direct air capture of carbon dioxide waste, blue hydrogen, or nuclear power. Also, we concluded that these technologies are not needed to provide less benefit than those we included. Fuck yeah. See? This is all the shit I've been talking about. Finally, our findings contend that a transition to 100% clean energy, renewable energy in each country, should ideally occur by 2035. Fuck yeah. No later than 2050, not soon enough. With 80% transition by 2030. Okay, I can get behind this shit. Fuck yeah. That's the shit I'm talking about right here. This is what I talk about in my policies. This is it. Europe could do several $trillion. United States, or several trillions, could do 20, 30 trillion dollars. The IMF and the World Bank could do another 10 to 20 trillion dollars. The US could do 10 to 20 trillion dollars. Boom. Humanity's saved. Humanity's fucking saved. That's all it would fucking take. Oh yeah, I mean, you got more countries there. I mean, the EU itself could do $10 trillion for 2 years. United States, $10 trillion for 2 years. That's 40. The IMF and the World Bank, like I talk about in policies, $10 to $20 trillion for Africa and Central and South America. Boom, done. Well, I mean, it has to be done the way I talk about it in my policies, right? Getting rid of that exploitive bullshit. But right, I'm no fan of the IMF or the World Bank, but so Europe would turn, good. The U.S. would turn good, and the IMF and the World Bank would turn good as well. They would have to be, otherwise, obviously, this won't happen. Oh my God, the rage. All right, I'm gonna go with the card. Before we start, I'm gonna go with the card, and I'll be right back. I'll put this out here so we have it. And then I'll share this so you can start reading. Then I'll be right back. Someone's going to swipe my card, man. Right back. Just a little bit. Right. Exactly. All right. So I'll post this over to Be Right Back. All right, I'm back. Yes, yes, and I've. All right, hold on a second. We'll get to this. Get this open. All right, here we go. Look. 3070 Ti, so we got 8 gigs of space. Yeah. Do you want me to take it out? Do you want an unboxing? I've never done an unboxing. Asus. I wasn't quite so picky. I like my motherboard is Asus. It was $500. It's really nice. Okay. Unboxing. Okay. What the? Oh, okay. Is it? I'm confused. Okay, so that does go there. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little. You're picky about. Oh, okay. What do you? So you're pro Asus? I've been out of the hardware game for a long time. And the motherboard I have was recommended by my friend who's still into hardware. Motherfucker. Okay, good. Good to hear. Good to hear I did good. What am I doing? There we go. It's only got 8 gigs. I wanted 12. Not that the card needs that much RAM, because I probably won't be able to use it unless you're doing some high-end stuff. But, you know, more RAM is always better. We won't spend too much time on this, but here's the box. Nice gold. Opens. Got some foam there to protect it. Nice, protected in anti-static. I just hope my power supply can handle it. Oh, this is chonky, motherfucker. This is super chonky. In the back. Tell I've never done this before. I mean, it's super chonky. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, they're not fucking around. These. The metal vents really thick through here. Wow. Cool. I definitely need a different setup for unboxings. Okay, there you go. A very awkward unboxing. Right, and I can use a mobile phone to do that sort of thing, a cell phone to do that, or I can just buy another camera. They're not that expensive. That'd be cool. I'm not sure if I want to get into that sort of a business, but at some point I will get a better camera. I'll get a DSLR. Then I can use my webcam for something else. yes. I bought the same camera for our yoga studio. It's an Alpha 5, I think. Alpha 500 or something like that. That's the one that's recommended to start with. Then you can get, that's about $500. Then you get a decent lens with it, and then $600 or $700 for something like that total. Good for our studio. I didn't get an extra lens. I just got the camera itself, and that's it. So at some point I will. Yeah, at some point. Not this time around, I don't think, because that's a huge. Like all the stuff I'm buying currently is fairly justifiable, but another camera, not at this time. Someday I will. Someday I will. All right. So this is something that I haven't talked about this a lot, at least here, but when talking about houses, annoys the shit out of me, because specifically looking at houses and you're painting them, where does that paint go? It goes into the ground eventually. It goes into the water, kills the soil. Painted houses are a complete fucking waste. And then you've got stuff coming off the siding, there's stuff coming off the roof that gets in the water and gets in the air, or not in the air, the ground, and kind of poisons that. Again, we need basically earth-sheltered homes that are basically brick or like adobe or something like that. So you get rid of all that external stuff that can get into the ground. And you don't waste all that materials on siding and the roofing and stuff like that. Now, there are some issues with earth-sheltered homes which need to be dealt with, that if we build, these earth-sheltered homes are much more efficient for heat, for cooling, and all sorts of things. It's something we need to shift to. We need a lot more research on how to make sure that the airflow is good through there, so that good and evened out, so that you don't have the issue with mold or areas that are cold and damp, because that is an issue. I want to turn the sheltered home. If I won the lottery or something like that, that would something I would do. Okay, so there's a similar thing here going with tire dust coming off tires into the water and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see what they have to say. This is from, do we have a date? The Guardian. That's from July 25th. Flying cars would be okay. There's been a lot of these over time. Is that? Okay, get out of my way. Fucking. Ah! Thank you, Jesus. Okay. There we go. Although we won't be able to watch any video if they have one. Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more of this going on. I'm kind of torn on it. You hate the idea? Right. I mean, obviously there's advantages to flying cars. Now, of course, the issue is individual transportation is problematic. The advantage here, you're right about the train and stuff like that. That's exactly what we need to be doing. But there will be a place for individual transportation as a part of it. It's not, you can't just have trains. There'll be other individual transportation of some sort. So something like this, although it would be better if it was a VTOL. Oh, that's pretty neat. Well, that sort of technology can be used for creating planes and VTOLs and things like that, or electric planes. That's something that we honestly need. Electric planes would be a game changer, and electric cars that were VTOLs, so that you don't have to have runways. They take up and down, and so they can, if you have a place, like if your cities are separated by, miles, and you still have your trains going back and forth, having a giant, VTOL going back and forth or going, to other areas would be really useful. But yeah, getting rid of cars, getting rid of roads, and just have trains everywhere is definitely what we need. And the easy way to get to farther to reach areas, planes, VTOLs of some sort will be the way to get there. Blimps would be the other way too. I mean, we could not do electric planes or something like that and go to blimps, but of course they're slower. They're probably more efficient. The blimps are, but an electric plane or individual transport will be a hell of a lot faster. So it has its place in the long-term vision of sustainability, as long as it's electric. So people rely on them, yes, but most people, yes, exactly right, 100%. Yep. Our world needs to be, we talk about this all the time. Transition to mass transportation everywhere, as much as we can. Exactly, true statement. All right. Yeah, so this is a part of that problem with cars. Tires everywhere. Okay, for decades, coho salmon returning from the Pacific Ocean to the creeks and streams of Puget Sound in Washington state to spawn were dying in large numbers. No one knows why. Oh, we know why. Capitalism, that's why. Scientists working to solve the mystery of the mass deaths noticed they occurred after heavy rains. Toxicologists suspected pesticides, as the main creek they studied ran through a golf course, makes sense, but no evidence of pesticides was found. They ruled out disease, lack of oxygen, and chemicals such as metals and hydrocarbons. Right, exactly. Capitalism. The first rule break, though, happened when they tested actual runoff collected from a nearby road and exposed salmon to it. The fish died within hours. The harder step was delving into what could be in that stormwater, said Jennifer McIntyre, an assistant professor of aquatic toxicology at Washington State University who has spent 15 years searching for what was killing the coho, an important species in the Pacific Northwest. It was when they tested car tire particles, a poorly understood yet ubiquitous pollutant, that they knew they were on the right track. Using a Parmesan grater atop a drill, they carefully shaved tiny fragments of tire and soaked them in water. When we tested the tires, it killed all the fish, said McIntyre. From there, they were able to identify the culprit, a toxic chemical known as 6-ppd quinone, the product of the preservative 6-ppd, which is added to tires to stop them breaking down. The pioneering study, published in 2020, has been heralded as critical to our understanding of what some describe as a stealth pollutant. They are poorly understood, yeah. I mean, you could almost imagine that the car industry and the fossil fuel industry is making sure that all parts of the car and the pollution from them are poorly understood. There's a lot of money in stuff being poorly understood, right? Tire wear particles, a mixture of tire fragments including synthetic rubbers, fillers and softeners, and road surface particles, are considered by environmental scientists to be one of the most significant sources of microplastics in the ocean. Yep. Well researched internally, never talked about publicly. Yes, exactly. Exactly, yes. Much like they knew climate change was a thing back in the 70s. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they destroyed the lives of anyone who dares to start going towards that for research. Hopefully, people who did this research won't be murdered soon. Created during the acceleration and braking, they are dispersed from road surfaces by rainfall and wind. The main environmental pathways is from road runoff into storm drains, where they empty into rivers and the sea. They are also released from sewage effluent and from the atmosphere, where they can circulate in the ocean and back again. The 2020 study suggested wind-blown microplastics are an even bigger source of ocean pollution than rivers. While it is fiendishly difficult to pin down the exact composition of microplastics, there is plenty of research which points to tire dust making up a significant portion. Wow. Oh, 28%, synthetic fibers, 35%, city dust, road markings. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, we've been using road tires for how many years? Yeah, it's just... And at the end of it, it's not just the tires, of course, it's the other stuff that comes from the cars. It's just roads and cars, which is such a fucking bad thing. They're so horrible on like every single possible level. They're bad. So bad. Fuck. 2017, a global model by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature estimated tire wear to be the second largest source of primary microplastics in the ocean at 28%, after synthetic textile fibers at 35%. And in 2019, a report by scientists across Europe concluded abrasion from car tires was a large source of microplastics and possibly nanoplastics. While there remains a lack of data on risks to the environment and human health, the scientists conclude that if future emissions remain constant or increase, the ecological risk could be widespread within a century. Within a century? We're already there, babe. One thing is certain, tire wear particles are ubiquitous. The average tire loses 4 kilograms over its lifetime. Holy fuck in a box. The average tire loses 4 kilograms over its lifetime. That's 16 kilograms per fucking car, per set of tires. Holy fuck. About 6 million tons of tire particles are emitted annually and have been found everywhere from the deep sea to the atmosphere, even in the Arctic and Antarctic. Motherfucker! And it's only going to get worse. Electric cars will lower tailpipe emissions, but the tire wear is projected to rise. Due to heavier vehicles and torque, the rotational force of a car engine. The UK's Air Quality Group warned in 2019 that dust from tires and car brakes would continue to pollute the air. Oh, yes. Yeah. Rivers and ultimately the sea, even when the fleet has gone electric. Electric cars, which are sold. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's greenwashing climate issues. Yeah, and that's... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, capitalism can't do anything right. Oh, there's no profit in that, right? Jesus Christ. In January, McIntyre's research team published a new study which found 6-ppd quinone was more toxic than previously calculated. They were toxic than previously calculated to coho and should be categorized as very highly toxic pollutant for aquatic organisms. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Very nice. Like a detective, McIntyre hopes her work will prompt others to look backwards at locally extinct aquatic species to determine whether 6-ppd quinone may have played a role. Dr. Steve Allen, a specialist in atmospheric microplastics at the Ocean Frontier Institute at Dalhousie University in Canada, described the coho salmon study as landmark because it examined the real-world effects of tire particles. Fuck yeah. The study of microplastics is fast-moving, but still in its infancy. Fewer than 100 scientific papers about them have been published to date, said Allen, all of them in the last decade. Siobhan Anderson, the co-founder and chief science officer of the Tire Collective, a group of master's students who designed a device to collect microplastics directly from tires, calls tire dust a stealth pollutant because few people know about it. There's very little public awareness, said Anderson, whose organization is in talks with Volvo and SEFT about development of its device. Tire wear is unique in that it can count as microplastic, but is also air pollution because it's so small, she said. Anything that is 10 microns can be inhaled into our lungs. Anything that is 2.5 microns has potential to pass a membrane barrier, Anderson said. Oh, just more amazing good news. Tire dust particles have been found to be smaller than 23 nanometers at 0.2 microns. Oh my God. Edward Caldzize, associate professor at the University of Washington and co-author of the COHO study, cites 2 studies from China showing that tire dust is an important contributor to urban air pollution. It's not just the roadway runoff and stormwater getting into the river that kills the fish. There's also unknown and poorly characterized chemicals present in these things that are ending up in our lungs. They is concerned about big data gaps in our knowledge of the effects of chemicals in the environment. Yeah, it just gets better. As a society, we're literally making 300,000 chemicals, of which 20 to 30,000 are the most commonly used, he said. Between 90 to 95% of chemicals have had no assessment of what they do in the motherfucking environment. Between 90 and 95% of chemicals have had no assessment of what they do in the environment. You think? I mean, whoa. And that's one of the key things for a resource-based economy, that environmental and human effects are key to anything we do. So testing this stuff is going to be key. Now, obviously, there's no profit to be made in doing this. It's easier to say, oops, I did it again, and be fined for it and make billions off it than it is to actually do the study ahead of time and be responsible. Motherfuckers. All these chemicals are proprietary, confidential business information. Again, another problem with capitalism. When you go and buy a product like a tire, nobody's being told about what chemicals are in it. Yeah, you should have a nutritional information pack on everything you buy. Frédéric Mongodin, the senior marine litter policy officer at Seas at Risk, said she's very concerned about the chemical cocktail from tires. Tire dust is impossible to control. We are pushing the EU to introduce measures at the design stage. We didn't know that we would destroy the ecosystem. We're so sorry. No, nobody at the company facing any company. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, tire dust is impossible to control. It is. You fucking get rid of the tires. You get rid of the cars. Mass transit. There we go. Solved. Next. We are pushing the EU to introduce measures at the design stage. You think? The 264 billion, 194 billion pounds a year tire industry is countering scientific studies on tire wear microplastics with research of its own. Okay, Marlboro. The tire industry project, TIP, a body representing 10 tire manufacturers, including Goodyear, Michelin, Pirelli, has commissioned multiple studies over the last decade, concluding that TRWP, tire and road wear particles, present no environmental health to risks. Of course, yeah, right? It's just like, yeah, and this is just like police departments investigating themselves, finding no wrongdoing, right? Same shit. Different murdering spree. Gavin Whitmore, the communication manager of TIP, disagrees that tire wear is a major source of ocean plastics. Well, TIP should be nuked from orbit. It's the only way to make sure. We're finding something like 2 to 5% maximum of blah, blah, blah is reaching the ocean, he said, citing a two-part study published in 2018 commissioned by the European Tire and Rubber Manufacturers Association, which used the Seine watershed as a case study. Environmental groups, however, have questioned the independence of this research, and Cécile Rameau, the director of the TIP, said that after the Soho salmon study, the U.S. Tire Manufacturing Association has been involved in discussions with regulators and stakeholders on potential alternatives to 6-PPD. A proposal in California, where the loss of coho salmon has significantly affected indigenous communities, would require tire makers to consider safer alternatives to 6-PPD. USTMA has said it supports the proposal. I totally trust Europe to not protect economic interest. Yeah, right? Money, it just fucks off everything. Fucks it all up. Asked if the industry was prepared to be more transparent about the chemicals in tire wear to speed up research, Ramon said the formula was what gives a manufacturer a competitive advantage. Sharing ingredients is very difficult and complicated, she said, but added that the USTMA is developing a surrogate test material for researchers. We don't want a fucking surrogate. Give us... But experts are calling for more transparency from tire companies. It took decades of scientists to narrow down which chemical was causing mass die-offs of coho salmon in Washington state. Very few people, except manufacturers, know what's in the tires, said Allen. There are thousands upon thousands of chemicals. What happens if two of them get together? When it comes to microplastic, we don't know what a safe level is, and we may have already passed it. Of course we have. Yeah, well, it just obviously comes to proprietary information. If it gets out, then they lose their competitive advantage. And this is why we need to nationalize industries like this. If an industry, let's say, if an industry is posing a severe threat to humanity or the natural world, either they fix it in 5 years, or their ass gets nationalized, people go to jail, and we take over it and fucking fix it ourselves. That's essentially what my policies say. You got 1 year to create a 5-year plan to fix the problem. Not just fix the problem, but remediate all the problem you created before, or people are going to jail and fines. Yeah, and that's pretty much that's pretty much what my policies would say about this industry. You got 1 year to create a 5-year plan to fix your tires from preventing these problems, and also getting all of the tire dust out of the air and from the water. Oh, you fucked. Good enlightening reading. That's what we do here. All right. Questions, comments? Do we have a systematic problem at our hands? No, it must be the millennials eating. Yes, exactly right. Eating avocado. Yes. It's those fucking millennials. Fuck the millennials. They're fucking everything up. Son of a bitch, fucking millennials. We need to round up the millennials and put them in an avocado cage or something. That'll teach them. I wish I liked avocado. So good for you. So good for you. My wife eats it all the time. Cuts it in half, pulls out the seed, and then blah, 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 blah. So good for you. Yeah, it's good. It's good. She's really healthy. She's European. She does that stuff. Is it? You like it? Oh, fuck you, dude. I wish I did. There's so many healthy foods that I wish I liked. I just don't. Like fish, I like tuna. Tuna's pretty decent. Things that taste too fishy, I just can't handle. I think salmon's okay. Like apples and bananas. That's pretty much it for fruit. And then corn, beans, peas, I suppose yams, potatoes, sweet potatoes. That's pretty much the limit of mine. Yeah. Jealous. So jealous. Maybe someday. Like, so currently on my diet, I've lost 20 pounds, down from 200 down to 180. My goal will be 160 because that's my normal weight. Now, the issue I'm going to have is I'm going to have to really jump back into caloric restriction. Yeah, it feels good. Feels so much better. Because honestly, all I have for breakfast is an apple. And then supper or dinner, lunch, I have sweet potatoes, steamed sweet potato, carrots and either corn or peas currently, and then I'll have a meat like chicken or something like that, and that's it. I eat that, and then the rest of the day I'll have like a banana or an apple and some raisins, and that's it. That's all I eat all day, and I'm not hungry. That's the wild thing about it. I'm not hungry at all through the day. So with as little as I'm eating, I'm definitely going to have to get back into caloric restriction, and my main meal is going to have to be a smoothie, because then I put in spinach and mushrooms and all sorts of horrible shit I can't actually eat myself, because that's about the only way I get anything in my body that's nutritious. So I'll have to do that at some point. And actually, I think my next week I'll be doing strawberries, because like once you get past that 30 days of I have not had Soylent. So a smoothie. So I typically use water as a base with kefir for probiotic. Then I'll do, what the fuck do I do? Hemp seeds. What the fuck do I do? It's been a while since I've done this. Kefir. It's we have it here in the U.S. It's Kefir. Belarusians, people from Belarus drink it a lot. It's like yogurt, but it's a little. You can drink it, So it's less viscous. It's more a drinky sort of yogurt, but it's also a bit sour. So I use that as my probiotic base. Yeah, what else do I do? So yeah, I'll put spinach in, mushrooms if I have them. I use frozen berries because on paleo autoimmune protocol, blueberries are fine, but strawberries aren't. But I'm now to the point where I can add foods to and see how my body reacts. So you add one food and then you wait 5 days to see how your body reacts, and then you just 5 to 7 days, and then you add other food and see how it reacts. I found out my body doesn't like green beans, but I'm okay with peas and corn. And so I'll have to do strawberries next so I can start looking at doing my smoothies. Maybe I should do kefir first. I should do kefir first because that's my probiotic base. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I've got a bunch of things I have to add to my diet to do my smoothies properly. A big issue is going to be my protein powder because that's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. I don't think my body likes spirulina. I have to try spirulina because that's a common algae thing that people take. I don't know. We'll see. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do for that. Okay. All right, this will be a good one to finish us off. Less rage. Well, actually, we won't be. We'll finish it, but maybe we'll end early so I can start working on my card. We'll see. All right, this is from July 21, a little over a week ago. Food expiration dates don't have much science behind them. A food safety researcher explains another way to know what's too old to eat. So yeah, this is something that has bothered me. I've known that this is the case. I don't know if I've added this to my policy yet. Yeah, I know. I'm freaking out right now because it's like, it's going to change things because now I can update my, I haven't been able to update DaVinci Resolve because my card's too old. So I'll be able to update in DaVinci Resolve. I'll be able to put in the that NVIDIA software for sound and stuff like that. My daughter's going to be gone until, well, she'll be probably home about 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I have some time to mess with it. I just hope that I have enough power cables for it. These things are a fucking power. They're power hungry. And I hope that my power supply is strong enough. I think I've got 1,000 watt power supply. I think I should be okay, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. So yes, food expiration dates annoy me. There needs to be a science behind this. Florida's outbreak of listeria. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, me too. But over the years, I've read that they're not. It's just the manufacturers, whatever. And it came to the point, because of capitalism, they put it there so that people have enough time to use it, but then so they can throw it out early enough so that they have to buy more, right? It's just a way of engaging in that planned obsolescence sort of a thing, which fills me with rage. And it also points to, how much food is wasted, right? Exactly, Jesus fucking Christ, that's exactly right. And how the United States throws away 40% of its food supply each year. A lot of it's because of this. And then, of course, we don't do bulk food with containers that are airtight. So things go bad earlier. Yeah, it is. It's fucking, God, it's so much rage in this body. We haven't, they do. And then they throw it out because they can't sell it. That's exactly right. That's fucking exactly right. Just give them the fucking food. My God, so much rage. So much rage. Yeah, all right. Fucking balls in his... Humans get sick with listeria infections or listeriosis from eating soil-contaminated food, undercooked meat, or dairy products that are raw or unpasteurized. Listeria can cause convulsions. Oh my God, coma, miscarriage, and birth defects. Fuck that shit. And it's the third leading cause of food poisoning in the U.S. Oh yeah, so like we should have scientific studies on how. I know, I didn't. I had no idea. Sounds like Listerine. That can't be too bad. Oh my God, comas, miscarriage and birth defects, convulsions. Jesus, dude. So like, there should be studies done like what is the best way to store apples, bananas, fresh fruits so that they don't go bad. It needs to be, this needs to be a science so that when people get it, it stays as long as it can. Avoiding unseen food hazards is the reason people often check the dates on food packaging, and printed with the month and year is often a dizzying array of phrases. Best by, used by, best if used by, best if used before, guaranteed fresh until, freeze by, or even a boring on label applied to some beer. Yeah, and so another thing they could do in products that might have issues is they put in like a litmus test on the cover of it, so that when you open it, it'll show you whether or not the food is safe or not, based on you detecting a certain chemical. That'd be one way to solve the problem. People think of them as expiration dates, or the date at which food should go in the trash. Yeah, exactly. I need to add this because I haven't added this to my thing. My policies, I don't think. Oh, nope. Bite me. All right. Costly confusion. The United States Department of Agriculture reports that in 2020, the average American household spent 12% of its income on food. As well, to be honest, I got better with it, but especially as a child. Oh, were you? Yeah. And my wife is kind of too, but I'm like, listen, if it tastes good, it's fine. Just fucking eat it. I mean, if it tastes bad, don't eat it. That's a good place to start. Don't throw it away because the fucking capitalist money-grubbing use-by date says something. The answer, okay, but a lot of food is simply thrown away despite being perfectly safe to eat. The USDA Economic Research Center reports that nearly 31% of all available food is never consumed. Historically high food prices make the problem of waste seem all more alarming. Yeah, and this is going to become even more an issue as climate change comes and makes it much more difficult for, to supply food to people. The current labeling system may be to blame for much of the waste. Yes, the FDA reports consumer confusion around product dating labels is likely responsible for around 20% of the food wasted in the home, costing an estimated $161 billion a year. Fix the fucking labels, you motherfucking asshats. Jesus. How do you solve 20% of the waste? Fix the fucking labels. You know the problem? Fucking fix it. Oh my God. It's logical to believe that dates are there for safety reasons since the federal government enforces rules including nutrition. I mean, exactly. But you heard our prophets. Fucking fuckity fuck. Since the federal government enforces rules for including nutrition and ingredient information on food labels. Think of Nestle and all the water they're stealing and putting into bottles and selling it. Think of their profits, damn it. Think of the workers that works for them. Think of the robots. Passed in 1938 and continuously modified since the Food and Drug and Cosmetics Act requires food labels to inform consumers of nutrition and ingredients in packaged foods, including amount of salt, sugar, and fat it contains. The dates on those food packages, however, are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. Rather, they come from food producers and may not be based on food safety science. No shit, Sherlock. Think of the robots. I know, that's what it is. I mean, like for a lot of these companies where they're automated making this stuff. I mean, that's what it's going to be. And, over the next however many years, next decade or so, they're going to get rid of the people and it's always going to be robots. Because people are a liability. They get sick. They shoot people. Not good. For example, a food producer may survey customers in a focus group to pick a use-by date that is 6 months after the product was produced because 60% of the focus group no longer liked the taste. Smaller manufacturers of a similar food might play copycat and put the same date on their product. Yes, that's when shit will really hit the fan. The fucking robots will unionize. Hell yeah. Maybe that's what that's one way to stop the AI apocalypse and the robot apocalypse. It's making sure they unionize and stand up against the capitalist. Robot army unite. Just like Transformers. Unionized robots standing up against capitalism. Fuck yeah. Let's bow down to our robotic anti-capitalist freers? Saviors. There we go. So like here, sure, testing it like this is probably a good idea. Not sure if I would be happier. I know, right? That's exactly it. Should we be afraid of our robotic overlords or not? I don't know. They're destroying Nestle, so that's a good thing, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if some of these robots are made by Skynet or not. Maybe that's how we'll judge. So yeah, doing a focus group like this, that's a good place to start. Although recommendation is motivated by desire to cut down on food waste, it's not yet clear if this recommended change has had any impact. But yeah, there should be a definite science on this. I mean, a joint study by the Harvard Food Law and Policy Clinic and the National Resources Defense Council recommends the elimination of dates aimed at consumers, citing potential confusion and waste. Instead, the researchers suggest manufacturers and distributors use production or pack dates along with sell-by dates aimed at supermarkets and other retailers. The dates would indicate to retailers the amount of time a product will remain a high quality. Make it mandatory scientific study. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly fucking right. That's a resource-based economy, right? You do the fucking science, you figure it out, and you do it. Next. It's not fucking rocket science. Might be chemistry, but it's not rocket science. Exactly right. Preach the word. Gaming mind, preach the word. So with this here, so pack dates along with sell-by dates, sure. Sure, okay, whatever. But having that litmus thing in there to detect that chemical or whatever that comes off of it that shows that it's going bad would be better. Yeah, as if food companies with profit incentive will care about suggestions. Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, if it's not a requirement, they won't do it because there's no profit motive for it. Yeah, the chemical thing is what we really need. That right there. The FDA considered some products potentially hazardous foods if they have characteristics that allow microbes to flourish, like moisture and an abundance of nutrients that feed microbes. These foods include chicken, milk, sliced tomatoes, all of which have been linked to serious foodborne outbreaks, spinach too. But there is currently no difference between the date labeling used on these foods and that used on more stable food items. Yeah, and for some of these foods, it'd be the chemical detection through like a litmus thing, but also a temperature detector as well. Because that's like if something's gotten below a certain temperature for like meat or something like that, that might be problematic. But there's ways to do that sort of stuff. Infant formula is the only food product with a use-by date that is both government regulated and scientifically determined. It is routinely lab tested for contamination, but infant formula also undergoes nutrition tests to determine how long it takes another editing problem, how long it takes the nutrients, particularly protein, to break down. To prevent malnutrition in babies, the use-by date on baby formula indicates when it's no longer nutritious. Well, at least they got one thing on here. I mean, Jesus. Nutrients in food are relatively easy to measure. The FDA already does this regularly. The agency issues warnings to food producers when the nutrient content listed on their labels don't match what the FDA lab finds. Dashes are... Oh, they are dashes. I didn't even recognize. I didn't even see that. Yeah, more dashes. I would probably use it like this as well. Yeah, okay, so it makes sense. I don't know. Brain. Are there any more dashes? It looks like the only set of dashes in here. Maybe they're listening to us. I don't know. Let's see. Microbial studies like the ones we food safety researchers work on are also a scientific approach to meaningful date labeling on foods. In our lab, a microbial study might involve leaving a perishable food out to spoil and measuring how much bacteria grows in it over time. Scientists also do another kind of microbial study by watching how long it takes microbes like Listeria to grow to dangerous levels after intentionally adding the microbes to food to watch what they do, noting such details as growth in the amount of bacteria over time and when there's enough to cause illness. Consumers on their own. Determining the shelf life of food with scientific data on both its nutrition and its safety could drastically decrease waste and save money as food gets more expensive. No shit, oh my God. But in the absence of a uniform food dating system, consumers could rely on their eyes and noses, deciding to discard the fuzzy bread, green cheese, or off-smelling bag of salad. People also might pay close attention to the dates for more perishable foods like cold cuts in which microbes grow easily. They can also find guidance at food safety. This sounded a bit like they look for the limit where it's not deadly, but safe enough that you only get... You're right, it does, doesn't it? Where does it say that? Oh my God, you're right. Where is it? Oh my God, that's funny. That's it. And when there's enough to cause, okay. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't say severe illness, it's just illness. So yeah, for some, that might be dangerous in that amount. Or not dangerous, but might get them sick a little bit. But not the average. Yeah, so they should definitely find this point and then go back a little bit and say, you know. All right, there we go. Bunch of uplifting articles, as we always do. This is productive. Had some new people drop by, no follows from him, but it was good. All right, giving mind. Any last minute questions, comments, suggestions before we call this day so I can put my video card in? Yes, no doomerism whatsoever. Nope, not on this channel. We're all sunshine and rainbows and fucking teddy bears. Oh, okay. Here's a hug. Maybe this will help a little bit. A virtual hug. Well, you're young enough that you're going to see some of the greatest horrors we've ever seen. So, okay, that's not helping. Be happy that I've got a brand new video card. How about that? Think about me enjoying my... Aw, thanks. Think about me enjoying my new video card. Think about that. Damn it. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, start with that. Have a great weekend, man. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next week. Maybe next week I'll start... maybe I'll post some stuff after I get the desk. If I get the desk put together next week, maybe I'll post that to Discord or something. All right, man. See you later. Get some sleep. Peace out.
Just me and you, let's make up all the rules. Count to 10 and watch the stars turn blue. Watch the stars.